Hey man, say man, it's that time. Me to talk about Four Knights of the Apocalypse. This time it is chapter 199 labeled The Visitor. We are one chapter away from the big 200, and for our cover image we have Chibi and Chibidora. Yes, I'm coining that term now. Here, just running alongside each other. And now we pick up where we left off, where Percival is holding his hand out to Diodora, asking to be friends, with Diodora looking and repeating the question, just kind of surprised, and seemingly reaching out for Percival's hands as well before slapping it, telling him not to joke with him. Diodora just telling Percival to just kill him and that he's got no regrets really left in the world, and that the people who he cares about are all waiting for him in the afterlife, assuming if one exists at all. With Percival confirming that it does, and that seems worried if he's just encouraging him. But Percival going on to state that he has something that he still needs to do to have his father remember him. And Diodora just sort of mad at Percival's seemingly self-righteousness, yelling to stop making himself into like a savior since he's his enemy. And Percival was like, yeah, we're ops, and I can't let that shit slide, but understands that to Diodora he's a cherished father. And Diodora just tries to make the argument that since Irons have forgotten all about him, he doesn't really care if he lives or die. Percival going on to state that he didn't forget you because he wanted to, probably. And Diodora is just wondering what Percival wants him to do before getting licked by Sia and nudged by Snark, with Percival encouraging him that while it won't be that easy, it's best to think about the next steps. As Diodora finds that he does have allies in the purgatory creatures who seem to have grown liking to Diodora, with Cabernet announcing its unexpected twist, but Diodora is just uninterested in continuing. And so the winner is just Percival, with him throwing his fist up like he did with the Gareth fight, with Gawain just upset that he preserved most of his stamina and magic, with Tristan also making a note that it's a good point. And Narcissus is just talking about how it was a bad fight for their heart, with Anne agreeing. Eyes of the Smalls seeing how wait, look at Chia. Before we go on to talk about how Eyes of the Small has a kinship with Diodora, since she's saying he's just like me for real. Look at this nigga Chia's face, bro. This nigga's undefeated. And meanwhile, Gophers notes how Percival has changed in the past 2 years and that his power has grown as much of his strength, and wonders if Percival will find a way to tear Beltrap away from Chaos as well. Him noticing how Beltrap seems to be not even reacting in any way. And with Percival picking up his sword and making his way back to his friends, Gawain asking Tristan if he has an extremely generous offer for him, and asked him to just forfeit the match, saying that, we don't really know how it's going to turn out, that there's no need for them to get hurt at all, with Tristan stating that there's no reason for Gawain to worry, and since he'll be sure to heal Gawain up right after she loses.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
And the tension just right there, as we're obviously going to get an Esterosa and Escanor in spirit rematch. Percival just encouraging them to have a good fight, which breaks their tension. Gawain low-key upset that someone as airheaded as Percival could made the final round at last, with Donnie mentioning how the top three are all Knights of Prophecy. Hauser starting to think how they're going to handle the hostile of Beltrap. And then eventually he says, there she is, and then we see a flutter of magic as they look to the sky to see a giant rose, with Hauser noting that the magic force is equal to Beltrap's, with Waldane popping out the rose. Talking about something, hey, sorry I'm late guys, there was a little bit of traffic, couldn't really do much about it, they're redoing, that there's a whole like roadworks and shit like that, airworks, how the spatial works, since it's teleportation or like a movement spell, is like skyworks, like I don't know, but you know what I mean. With Percival wondering how Waldane is even still alive, obviously King put the snuff on her, with Narcissians noting that she is one of the four evils who struck at the Fairy King, with Gareth noting that they have another menace to deal with Gopher wondering when Beltrap was able to contact her and how, and if the chaos implanted within them functions as a single whole. Beltrap yelling to her that she's late, with Waldane arguing back that he should be great that she's here at all, stating that she was busy with the god of war, Lancelot mentioned, but anyways, with Waldane stating that, more to the point, that the moment she stepped foot in Anfuin, a part of her memory started to grow hazy, and that if it even affects her, sorcerer behind it must be like a genius and is more so fascinated than angry at the fact. But she's like, yeah, you know, as cool as this is, it's not really that big of a deal. So she throws up her set, starts speaking in tongues. Gawain recognizing the spell even, tells all of them to watch out as a giant like shockwave goes for out of Anfuin, where it's a super range absolute cancel.
What did I just see? What did I just see?
And from it, the results are clear. All the rings on everyone's fingers or hair in Tristan's case, have been destroyed. And it seems like whatever happened last chapter was a misdraw from Nakaba, which is very rare from him, I'll be so for real. And that Gawain is frustrated how it overrode all of their camouflage magic. Immediately Beltrap is like, yeah, nah, this feels much better. My mind feels sharper. And praises himself for summoning Waraldane here. And Waraldane tells him that if he looks better to just look below, and says that they deserve praise to march into the party like this. And notes that it is and all three of them now understand the situation immediately. Stop! Look at those stuff for the flick, bro. Who are they feeling like right now? We're just missing one person, and we will have the whole group flick. But yeah, the full Knights of the Apocalypse are all here, with Beltrap sort of mad that he got tricked by them. Beltrap adding on that since they also seem to have quite a legendary friend, since he now knows Cappadolic is Gopher. Even the Knights just shocked, and that all the rank and fillers with the Knights of Prophecy daring to resist them are there. And then announces with absolute fervor that the festival is here by over. I can't lie, this is a tough frame. I just wish Waraldane was posing in the back as well to make this a bit tougher, and that is where this chapter ends, where, you see, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew we weren't gonna get a full tournament arc without something happening towards the finals, because Nakaba doesn't like resolving finals, does he? I knew it was gonna happen. I just didn't wanna believe. It would have been so cool to see a Tristan Gawain rematch, bro. It would have been fun. But what can we really do? So it seemed that Beltrap at some point had made contact with Waraldane, since he probably just couldn't stand how hazy his mind felt. And honestly, I don't really blame him for that. If I was in his situation, my memory was fuzzy every time I'd seen certain face who I know I'm supposed to be up against. Yeah, I'd call in the reinforcements and be like, yo, is there something wrong with me, gang? I feel like we also have to give a little round of applause to Waraldane's entrance, because she literally could have just teleported in. She knows how to use teleport. She can use long distance teleport. We literally just seen her use a super range absolute cancel. There's no way there is no such thing as a super range teleportation. And yet, she decided to pull up in the most classy way possible through a rose. Ironic, because last we seen her was in the Fairy Kingdom, which, you know, obviously the Fairy King's forest is a bunch of plants and stuff, so, you know, quite funny that is. But I like how she's also more so a pioneer of the magic, like you'd expect any mage to be, kind of like Merlin, as she finds just fascination in how magic works and other people's abilities. We've seen this from the Marcian's encounter. But regardless, she pulled up in not just any kind of simple, but a goddamn robe, bro. And then let's also talk about how the Knights were stanced up immediately once their rings broke, knowing that they were going to have to get into squabbles. Now, how is this confrontation going to play out? A draw. I'm predicting a draw. The Knights retreat, Camelot pulls back, and everyone that was in the tournament get, shipped off on Gawain's ship, and now Gawain's father also marked as a traitor, this, that, and the third, which will segue into what they have to reveal to Gawain. And also, Waraldane mentioning a god of war. We know there is someone associated with war and is the biggest menace we have known to date in the series amongst the Knights, and that is Lancelot, and we know he's the Knight of War. So him being, obviously we're going to get some more information about that in the future, probably not this chapter, but having chapter 200 be the start to a fight between basically the first proper encounter between the Knights and the Evils.
Incredible.
I cannot wait to see how it's gonna go. We'll probably end up getting some information about Beltrap's magic as well. So yeah, that's all I have to say on this. This was a pretty cool chapter. I'm happy Diodora does seem to actually decide, you know, I'm not really in it. I'm not really in it like that. Is he a false avenger in that case? I don't know. Ask Angraman. But generally, a good chapter. I can't wait to see what's gonna come out of this next. So with that, I'll see you guys next week, the week after, if there's gonna be a break next week. I really hope not. Hope y'all take it easy, take care, and have a good one.
So then I came down.